Any ideas? Where would you apply it? Okay. Anyways, let me show something that where they use augmented reality. I don't know if you've seen this before. Anyway, I'll stand behind and let you see a 40-second clip. Okay, so what did you just see? Augmented reality being used in a way where you could advertise or promote your product, right? So what's the experience for the customer? It makes my coffee taste better. What does it do? Makes my coffee interesting, makes it more fun. Right? I can share it with my friends, even if I do not have friends. Right? So again, in these rare cases where technology comes first, but again, either way, you've got to work your way backwards to the customer experience. Okay? And you can be very creative at it. Like in this case, it's not doing real estate. It's simply putting your phone in front of a Starbucks cup and putting some animation on it and allowing you to capture pictures of it so you can share it with your friends. Right? Kind of a useless app really, but it's fun. The value you provide is entertainment. Okay, understand so far? Do you have any questions so far? Okay, so that's basically the second lesson, which is customer experience will always trump the technology. And that's why you have to figure it out. The third lesson I've learned is, we've always been trying to develop products, right? You develop your software product, your online web store, whatnot, your gadget, your device, and you sell that product. One of the things we've learned as we were building Haybol.ph is about customer development. Anyone heard of customer development? I guess none yet. And well, it's kind of a complex topic, but let me try to summarize what customer development is. So take note, what we've learned is it's not about product development. It's more about customer development as well. You have to figure out who your customers are. So, previously in the slide, that was the book that basically taught us, or we read the book, and that the book taught us what customer development was about. And we summarize it in this slide. It's basically showing 4 steps for customer development. I won't go through all of them. I'll just summarize the first 2. Now, the first one is about customer discovery. Because whenever you're starting up an enterprise or a company or a business, you got to figure out who your customers are. And that's what customer discovery is all about. Because sometimes, like in the case of Haybol.ph, we thought, okay, we're going to give the home buyers, the home searchers, a fantastic experience because they can now save time and money. Instead of going to the actual site to find out what properties are for sale or for rent at what price, they can simply relax at their home, use the online website, and we'll do the work for them. Sounds logical, right? Okay. We also thought that because the experience is so high-tech, so fun, so delightful, we will have people who would want to list their properties with us. And not only that, they can list with us for a certain price because we're providing all the features. And we store the data, right? Sounds logical? Yeah? Okay. But we realize that is not the case. We realize that the customers we thought were our customers were not. Now, it's a bit of a long story as to how we figured that out. But nonetheless, it's safe to say that you got to understand who your customers are. right? It's not just what you think your customers are, but you have to go try it out. Another thing is customer validation. So it's not just about customer discovery. It's also about customer validation. Why? Because when we pitched the idea of Haybol.ph to a lot of potential housing developments and whatnot, even real estate agents and whatnot, they told us, well, it's actually nice. It's great. We'll use it. Of course, for us, we were ecstatic. We thought, wow, we now have a lot of customers, potentially paying customers. But then when we put a price on it, you know what they said? I won't use it. I'll use that something else that's free, that starts with S and ends with the IT. Okay, and take note, the second letter ain't H, okay? So that's about customer validation. It's not just about, okay, you present it, you pitch it, and they say something nice. They're probably just being polite. You got to be able to validate that by putting a price. Remember what I talked about, being free? So don't just go for free. Put a price on it and see what happens. Because what's the point? If you're going to give it out for free, then it's not enterprise. It's not being an entrepreneur, right? Understand so far? Customer discovery. Another lesson we've learned, and we've got it from this book, is about lean startup, which is also about customer development. It talks about a concept called MVP, not the most valuable player. It's about minimum viable product. Anyone heard of that? When you're doing software development, sometimes people talk about proof of concept, a minimal viable product. What that means is that it's not about having the smallest set of features so that you can ship your software. It's not. It's about having the minimum set of features that will allow you to understand and validate who your customers are. Let me give you an example. For example, if you are trying to think of a software, right? You're going to build this new fantastic software, and you say it has the following features. You might think, well, how do I develop it? Because if I'm going to write that piece of software, it's going to take you 1 year or so, right? But you don't want to take 1 year before you ship it out, right? And then test it with your customers. Would you want to wait for 1 year? I won't, right? So you think about it. Oh, maybe I can have half the number of features and just ship it in 6 months instead of 1 year, right? Half the time, half the features, right? Make sense? Right? But what if I told you that not just 6 months, why don't you deliver it in 6 days? But you might say, oh, wait, what can I deliver in 6 days? What can I build in 6 days? What the heck? You can put up a web page that says blah 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 about your software, put some screenshots, and put a download button where if the visitor clicks on that download button, they won't download the software, they'll just be notified if your software is ready. Right? Think about it that way. Now, if you use that experiment, right, it will only probably take you 6 hours to build a page that looks nice and has a download button, right? Or you might want to change the text because you might say, well, download it's like I'm fooling the user or visitor of my site. Why don't you put a link? If you're interested in this product with the following features, with the following sample screenshots, it doesn't have to be the real thing. So you can paint it in your nice Photoshop or whatnot, right? Which is exactly what we do when we design software, right? We draw out layouts, an idea of how the page would look like, what features it may have, what happens if you click this, what happens if you click that, right? You can put all of those pages or snapshots on your web page and put a link to be notified if you are interested. Now, if you put that web page out and put that out, obviously it's easy to build, right? It's easier to build a simple web page, no fancy JavaScript, just a bunch of screenshots, put it out and see how the market will react. That's going to be much, much better than trying to build your actual software for 1 year or 6 months and figure out you don't have any customers. Because no one likes the software you built, right? So that's what we've learned about Lean Startup. Obviously, the book contains a lot more, but I don't have the time to talk about it. I would just encourage you, when you're thinking about technopreneurship or you're thinking about setting up your own business, you might want to give this book a read. Okay, So that's basically the third lesson. Now here comes the fourth. Your first idea may fail. I'm not saying it will fail, but it may fail. Right? So let me just give you examples. And I would ask the audience for some participation. This brand here, I believe you all know this brand. Who can tell me the first, or before Microsoft, what were the first ideas of the founders of Microsoft that failed? Anyone? Anyone? Don't tell me it was Bill Gates' first idea. It wasn't. So what was his first idea that probably failed? Anyone? No one knows? Okay, probably Microsoft is doing a good job for erasing history. Actually, well, they're not hiding it. But the point is, you can search it on the web. Bill Gates, together with Paul Allen, co-founders of Microsoft, before they came up with the idea of Microsoft, back then it was just DOS, okay? They came up with an idea called traffic data. What they did was they put some pipes on the ground, put concrete on top of it, and as cars pass by, those pipes can sense the cars passing by. So the electric impulses emitted by the cars that are passing by are fed into a computer, and the computer will measure traffic data. Sounds like a very nice idea, right? They tried it, no one bought it. So even the most successful businesses out there also had first ideas that did not succeed. Okay, so let's try another one. Hopefully you guys have some ideas. This brand, anyone know? What does it do? Sorry? It does what? Photo sharing, right? Online photo sharing. So what's the first idea of this one? Anyone? Oh, let me share with you. Well, Flickr actually wasn't the first idea of the founders. In fact, the founders were building a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORP, right? And the game was called Game Never Ending. That was the name of the game. So they were developing it for a year or so. And then they realized, as they were trying to build this multiplayer online game, they needed a way to share avatars. So they said, then they came up with Flickr, which at that time wasn't even called Flickr. It was just simply a way for the players within that game to share photos to each other. Little did they know, so again, their flagship product is the online game. It is only their side product, Flickr, that they built because they wanted their players, their users, to share photos with other players. Little did they know that Flickr would soon become a big hit because of the sheer amount of traffic that they got. In fact, some people wanted to use it, registered online for the game, but didn't really play the game, just wanted to use Flickr to be able to share photos. So in this case, it's not really the first idea failed, it's just that it's not their main idea that succeeded. Remember, in Flickr, their main idea was the online game. Flickr was just a side project, and yet the side project became the big hit. Okay? Next story. What's this brand? Blogger, right? Okay, what's the story behind this one? Anyone? Blogger. It's now bought by Google, right? What was the idea behind this? Anyone? Huh? Did I hear an answer from the back? Sorry? Blog? So yeah, it is about blogging. What was the idea behind it? Okay, the story behind Blogger is this. The founders of Blogger, they basically started a software company whose main aim wasn't to build blogging websites. They basically started a company called Pyra Labs, and their main objective was to build project management software. Far from blogging, right? Their main objective was project management software. So think about Gantt Chart, think about meetings, think about minutes of meetings. That's their main objective. So what was Blogger? How did Blogger came into the picture? Because some crazy developer came up with that. No, actually, Blogger, interestingly, came out because as they were developing the project management software, they figured I needed to put some brief notes as I was doing project management. And they came up with the word blog. Actually, it's similar to blabbering, meaning nonsense ideas that I take note of, but then it took off. Little did they know, their project management software didn't sell. Instead, their Blogger website became a big hit. Right? Okay. Other brands, like this one. Any ideas? What's the first idea of these guys who failed? Anyone? Who's using Twitter? A lot of people raised hands before, right? So, any ideas? Twitter? Again, you can search it. Twitter, interestingly, again, was not the main project. It was a side project. In fact, the founder of Twitter is actually the same founder as Blogger. They were doing, after Blogger, the founders of Blogger had a lot of money because Google bought them, went on to find another company who was focused on doing Twittering. No, it was focused on doing podcasting. Anyone heard of the company Odeo? O-D-E-O? I guess not, because it failed. Their main objective was to create podcasting software, podcasts. That's what they do. And what did they do with Twitter? Again, some developer inside their team created something like Twitter to allow him or her to be able to share notes via SMS to other team members. That is how Twitter started. Little did they know, when others saw them using it, wanted to use it as well. Ergo, you have the 140 character limit. Why? Because it started as SMS. It wasn't really about short blog posts. It was really just SMS. Because the team members at Odeo wanted to share notes about some ideas. And instead of texting a lot of people, they'll type it into their computer and eventually it will reach your phone. Okay? That's how Twitter started. So again, it's not their first idea that actually made it big. Sometimes it's a side idea. Google. Anyone? Before they founded Google, what was their first idea? Okay, change the question. The founders of Google, when they started the search engine, let me rephrase that question. What is Google's business? What is Google's business? It's about making the fastest search possible. Is it? No. Google's business is about, come on, any ideas? I can see some thought bubbles coming along. It's about advertising. Google's business is advertising. It's not about search. So I hope you guys think about it. So it's not just about the software, okay? Think about the business. Google's revenue is basically generated by ads. You see, whenever you search for Google, you see that sponsored link. That's how Google earns money. It's not about the search. So here's the thing. If you think about it, the founders of Google, when they started, they said, wow, I have this fantastic search engine. Here's what we'll do when we go into business. We'll sell the darn thing, right? That's what they thought. They tried to sell the search engine. You know what happened? No one bought it. No one. So it's a failed idea, right? So they said, okay, oh crap. It's a failed idea. What do we do now? We have a fantastic search engine, right? What do we do? Good thing someone came on board to their management team and said, hey, why don't you do ads? At first, they didn't like the idea. But then when they saw that it will generate you billions and billions of dollars in revenue, they said yes. Okay? So think about the business behind it. Last but not least, this other brand. Anyone know? Anyone know this brand? Well, what's it used for? Online banking? Yeah? Alright? So it's all about online payments. It's now bought by eBay. So the founders of this company, again, had an idea, had the first idea. It's not PayPal. It's another idea that failed. Anyone can guess what that was? Okay. PayPal's founders first thought about, because it was way back in 2000, they were thinking about creating a way to beam payments using their Palm OS, Palm devices. Because back then there were like no smartphones. The smartest phone around was a Palm OS. So he thought, well, gee, I'm so good with the encryption and whatnot, I can actually send very secure messages that no one can hack. And I can send secure payments via mobile phones. When he pitched it to a lot of businesses, no one noticed. No one wanted the idea. They said, who would want to use your mobile phone to beam payments to some other person? So, but the good thing is he never gave up. He went on to find PayPal and he earned a lot of money from it. Alright? Okay, hopefully those stories give you an idea what I mean by your first idea may fail. And just for the record, we're not yet done with Haybol.ph. There's still a lot of things that we need to do. So, okay. Any questions so far? So, after that, I think this is the last one. And probably one of the most important things we've learned. Focus on what won't change. Now, if you notice, technology changes a lot, right? And it probably changes a lot faster than we wanted it to. Buy a new device now, 2 days later, it's old stock. And then you'd have to buy another device, right? High tech. So what do I mean by focus on what won't change? Any ideas? Any ideas about things that won't change? Especially in the business of software? What won't change? Think about it. Some smart guy might come up and say, sure, but change is constant. Yes, that is true. But there are a couple of things that remain constant and you can focus on that. What are some of the samples that we've learned? And perhaps you will learn some of the things that won't change along the way in your journey through Technopreneurship. What we've learned is this. Number one, speed. It will never change. People will always want things faster. You will never ever wake up one day to say, I wish my iPhone was a lot slower today than before. You will never say that. You will never say that your PC, you want your PC to be slower than yesterday. You always wanted to make it faster, right? Okay. Other things. Okay, I've started the ball rolling. So speed is one of the things that you can focus on that won't change. Any other? Yes? Huh? Yes, user friendliness. One of the things that won't change. You won't wake up one day and say, how I wish my software was just less user friendly today than before. You will always want something more user friendly. Anything else? And user friendliness can also be defined as being simple to use, or very useful, right? Usefulness. Any other things? You can think, yes, at the back. Functionality, the features, the usefulness, right? So you don't want to say, today I can use it for something, tomorrow I don't want it to be functional anymore, right? You want to always make it functional. What else? Any more ideas? Okay, since there are no more ideas, we'll probably just skip. Anyway, basically those are the lessons I've learned. I hope as I've shared that with you guys, hopefully you can think about, as you start thinking about, making some business on the side, or even during your employment, I hope you can keep on thinking, because those skills for entrepreneurship, it's not just about creating your own business. Those skills can also be learned as you are working for another company. You can still learn your entrepreneurial skills and practice them, right? So anyways, again, my name is Lorenzo Dee. I hope you can like us on Facebook, both ONB and Haybol.ph. I thank you for your time.